It appears that Kentucky will have a presidential caucus in 2016, just like Senator Rand Paul had asked for. Hear from the senator just moments after the caucus passed.
Our message today is, Governor, please do your job. Don't just point your finger at the county clerks and demand that they do theirs.
Hundreds gathered outside the state capitol today. Hear from some showing support for the county clerks refusing to issue marriage licenses.
Police are investigating after a shooting outside of a Lexington strip club leaves one man dead.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
It is about something above and beyond one person. It really is about trying to grow the party. And I'm thoroughly convinced that were I not in this race, that this is just good for the Republican Party, that we'll be able to grow our lists and excite people and get more people to turn out.
The request to allow a Kentucky senator to also run for president is approved. Thanks for watching WKYT. I'm Kristen Kennedy. Kentucky's Republican Central Committee met today to discuss whether to bring a presidential caucus to the Commonwealth. This comes after Senator Rand Paul requested the vote. Garrett Weimer is live in Frankfort with our top story at 6. And Garrett, you had the chance to talk with Senator Paul after that vote took place.
That's right, Kristen. Senator Paul talked to reporters for just over a minute right as he left the meeting. The committee here today approved the caucus with 111 votes. It needed only 98. Senator Paul said it was a great day, and he's grateful for the decision.
Winning a 2/3 vote is not easy, but we exceeded 2/3, and we had a really, I think, a great discussion. It's almost a little bit like being on a jury. There's back and forth and back and forth, and ultimately I think people got to the point where they were very comfortable with the idea.
State law in Kentucky bans candidates from appearing on the ballot twice in the same election. Paul tried to get the state legislature to change the law, but they wouldn't do it. The caucus, approved today when party leaders convened here in the state's capital city, will allow voters to vote for Paul for president in March and Senate in the May primary. Some committee members said the decision was based on trying to make Kentucky a national player in presidential politics, not based on Paul's candidacy. Paul echoed those thoughts afterward.
It is about something above and beyond one person. It really is about trying to grow the party. And I'm thoroughly convinced that were I not in this race, that this is just good for the Republican Party, that we'll be able to grow our lists and excite people and get more people to turn out.
For the caucus to take place, Rand Paul does have to pay the Republican Party of Kentucky $250,000. The deadline for that is September 18th. And after the meeting today, when asked if he would wait until the deadline to transfer that money to the Republican Party, he said he'll transfer it. He said he'll transfer it when it's ready. Live in Frankfort, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. Kentucky's caucus would not be winner take all. The plan would split Kentucky's delegates proportionally among the candidates, depending on their percentage of the vote. Also in Frankfort, hundreds of people gathered outside the state capitol today to support 3 Kentucky county clerks refusing to issue marriage licenses. The refusals came after the Supreme Court's ruling legalizing same-sex marriage. The 3 clerks say issuing those marriage licenses goes against their religious beliefs. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain is talking to supporters who want Governor Beshear to hear them loud and clear.
This is not an anti-gay or anti-lesbian rally.
Thousands of people from all over the state gathered at the Capitol for today's rally. Organizers say the rally is to simply send a message to Governor Steve Beshear.
Our message today is, Governor, please do your job. Don't just point your finger at the county clerks and demand that they do theirs. And if he'll do that, with an executive order, the gays and lesbians can get their marriage licenses and the county clerks can be protected. It is that simple.
Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis was on hand, along with 2 other county clerks who are all refusing to issue marriage licenses. Now, Kim Davis didn't want to speak on camera, but those in the crowd were proud to stand by her side and speak in her favor.
When you have that much conviction, it doesn't matter what they do to you, stand your ground.
On the other side of the river is an event for the Fairness Campaign. Event coordinators tell me it's a coincidence that their event is the same day as this rally. They have no plans to protest this rally. Rather, their hope is to counter with love.
You know, it's a free country, and They're on that side of the river, and we're on this side of the river, and we're not planning on swimming across.
The Frankfort Fairness Group has no intention of protesting, but rather celebrating, as today is the 2-year anniversary of Frankfort passing the Fairness Act.
We wanted to do something to celebrate our ordinance and to just bring everybody together in a spirit of cooperation and celebration.
It is a celebration. It is good to be as recognized as any other couple or any other group of citizens.
In Frankfort, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
The U.S. 6th Circuit Court of Appeals set a deadline for briefs to be filed in the case against Kim Davis. Her attorneys must have those briefs filed by October 2nd. A federal judge issued a temporary stay on his injunction requiring Davis's office to issue licenses so the appeals court could review the case. The stay expires August 31st, more than a month before briefs are due. Lexington police are trying to figure out what led to a shooting. Around 2:30 this morning, they say a man showed up at St. Joseph's Hospital with a gunshot wound. Friends tell us Robert Greer was sitting in his car outside a strip club when police believe someone shot him. Greer died from his injuries. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is talking to his friends who are having a hard time believing what happened.
Lexington police say it happened early Saturday morning as the victim was sitting inside of a parked vehicle here in this parking lot off of Alexandria Drive, just outside of Camelot West. Officers responded to the strip club around 2:30 this morning after a man with a gunshot wound showed up at St. Joseph Hospital. Investigators say that shooting victim was sitting in the passenger seat of a white Chevy Malibu in the parking lot of Camelot West. That is when they say multiple shots were fired into that car. Police say the shooting victim was then dropped off at the hospital with what they called life-threatening injuries. A short time later, we learned the Fayette County Coroner's Office is investigating a homicide involving the shooting death of Robert Greer. Friends of Greer, who did not want to be shown on camera, say they believe their friend was that victim inside the car.
Wow. I've watched this little boy grow up, never bothered anyone, very sweet, very nice, very respectful. It really pains me to hear this about him, that somebody could be so cold-hearted and to take him away from his family like that. Regardless of the situation and what brought him to that place that, last night, he didn't deserve none of this.
Now with the crime scene tape removed, many questions remain as friends and family remember a man they say leaves behind several young children.
Anyone has a heart and they cared about this man and they know what happened. Give his family peace. Give his friends peace, his babies peace.
At this point, police have not released a possible motive behind this shooting. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Right now, officers are reviewing surveillance video from nearby businesses to try and get a better perspective of what happened. A scare for some travelers today. A suspicious item caused leaders at the Bluegrass Airport to shut down a terminal this afternoon. Lexington police say someone found a suspicious object near baggage claim around 1 today, and the bomb squad had to come in to search. Officers are not telling us what that object was. They gave airport leaders and travelers the all clear around 1:30. The closure did not delay any flights. This beautiful start to the weekend may end with some showers tomorrow. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell is in the First Alert Weather Center tonight tracking rain chances Sunday.
And what that's going to end up doing, Kristen, is the driving force behind those showers will be a frontal boundary that brings some much cooler air area-wide. And we're talking for days here. There you see what it looks like here in Lexington. We do have some showers off in the distance, well off to our south, but some of the cloud cover is already beginning to spread toward the north and getting into Kentucky. It's 84 degrees out at the airport with a westerly wind coming in at around 3 miles per hour. Feels great out there. I mean, that's not a bad 84. A little westerly wind at 3 miles per hour makes it feel great. Now, you notice all around us, folks are a little bit cooler. Danville, Richmond, Mount Sterling, Frankfort, all coming into the low 80s. We're at the 84 here in Lexington, but everybody else low 80s. So it's kind of a trend out there for the most part. Now, as we advance through the evening, we're going to hold on to some of the warm conditions. But as Defender remains quiet across central Kentucky, we're still tracking that moisture out to the southwest. Some of that might roll into our area as we progress forward. That may happen overnight and then another round tomorrow. We'll take a closer look at all of this, including that fall blast, coming up in just a few minutes.
A Louisville priest is in jail in Florida. The Courier-Journal is reporting deputies near Tampa arrested Stephen Pohl Friday. Pohl, we're told, resigned from the Archdiocese of Louisville after FBI investigators found child pornography on his computer. Archdiocese leaders say the FBI told them Pohl had about 200 photos, some of them inappropriate, of students from St. Margaret Mary Parish, where he was a pastor. Pohl is facing a federal charge of possession of child porn. Nearly half a dozen people are facing charges tonight after a drug bust. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says they got a tip about meth at a home on Doe Run Drive in Mount Sterling late last night. When deputies got to the home, they arrested at least 5 people. They haven't yet released their names. After the arrest, deputies say they called in hazmat crews to clean up the home.